Hey, what's up guys? So I'm here with Dark Magician Girl, and we are going to be showing you guys how to trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards online through the mail. So if it's your first time, you might be wondering, what do I do? So I might have sent you this video link, so it'll help you guys out. So first off, you've probably seen someone's trade binder, they flip through the pages, and if you see a card that you like, you're like, oh, I want those Gemini Sparks. I want to trade for those Gemini Sparks, but you might not know what the person wants to, get in exchange for their Gemini Sparks. So let's take this for example. Let's say that you see Gemini Sparks, you want them, and you check what they are looking for to trade. Usually it'll be in the description box down below in that description. There's a box, you click on it, and it opens up, and it'll say like a whole bunch of lists of cards that they're looking to trade for. So maybe you see Spellbook of Power, and you're like, oh, Spellbook of Power, Gemini Spark, those are both commons. I think that's a fair trade. Keep in mind that, people value cards differently. Some cards are harder to get in other areas, and people might think that Spellbook of Power might be worth more than Gemini Spark. Some other people might think Gemini Spark is worth more than Power. So it depends on the person. So the easiest way just to, do that is to be like, hey, can we do this trade? And then you literally just send them a message, and make sure you are able to receive messages, because some people have their account on like a certain setting where it doesn't allow anyone else to send a message if they're not on their friends list. So keep in mind, make sure you have your account set up so you can actually receive when someone messages you back. So first off, you'd be like, oh, look, he's got Gemini Sparks, I want them. I checked his little description box, he said he's looking for Spellbook of Powers, and you're like, okay, well, I would like to trade my Spellbook of Powers for your Gemini Sparks. Now, if your cards are damaged, let's say that your Spellbook of Powers, maybe one of them is bent in half, let the person know beforehand. It's always good to say, hey, one of my Spellbook of Power, it's got a huge bend right down the middle, is that cool? Sometimes the player will be like, oh, hey, it's no problem, whatever. But if the person cares about it, then sometimes, you may have to, give him another card in exchange for the Spellbook of Power because it was damaged. So keep that in mind as well. Let someone know if the cards are damaged before you even start the trade. Before you even say, I want to trade my 3 Spellbook of Power, say, hey, I want to trade my 3 Spellbook of Power. One of them's got a bend down the middle, or, it's got edge wear, or let them know the condition of the card. If it's in mint condition, don't bother messaging him, letting him know it's in mint condition, because usually all people, assume the card's in mint condition, otherwise they will state it, because if you do send someone a damaged card, you don't mention it, they will not send you out their trade. That's just how it goes. They'll usually just send your card back and they'll be like, I don't want it, and then you've essentially wasted your time, you wasted their time, you wasted a stamp. So keep that in mind. Let someone know if the card is damaged beforehand. So let's say that you message the person, you say like, oh, hey, I would like to trade my Spellbook of Power for the Gemini Spark, and the person goes, hey, that's totally cool, let's do that trade. So next you have to figure out who is going to be sending first. You could technically send at the same time, but usually that doesn't happen because bigger Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers, they always prefer the other person to send first, unless maybe that they've traded with them previously and they trust the person. So it's always good to decide who's sending first before you even agree on the trade, because sometimes some player might not want to send first. I know that there are tons of popular Yu-Gi-Oh channels that won't send out first. It's just how it goes. Pretty much if someone's over 10,000 subscribers, they are there to stay, and they probably are not a scammer. But keep in mind there are scammers out there that will literally they'll take your cards. Once you send them your cards, they won't send you anything back. They'll just be like, oh, it's cool, I got free cards. So keep in mind, make sure the person is a trusted trader. You can do so by checking the references list. Although, like I said, when the Yu-Gi-Oh channel is like really popular, you don't really have to worry about that. Because usually the person is, trustworthy, otherwise they would have gotten a whole bunch of messages and people would say that the person is a scammer. But, cards do get lost through the mail. That does happen. That's why I will show you guys how to get tracking, which is a really easy process, and it's an extra couple bucks, but it's definitely worth it. So, after you decide who is sending first, you will have to write on an envelope, or you can get these things, they're called bubble mailers. They look like this. This one's, I just cut off the bottom part, but basically it is just, bubbles. It's got bubbles, you can pop them, but you probably don't want to pop them. But yeah, you can put your cards in there. But before you put your cards inside the envelope or inside a bubble mailer, you want to put them in a top loader. This is what a top loader looks like. You can get these at, Walmart, anywhere where they sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards. More than likely they'll have these things. They're called top loaders, and they come in packs. And usually when you trade one out, you'll get one back. So don't worry, you'll always have you buy like 10 of these. I think they sell them in like 10 packs, or like 50 packs or 25 packs. But yeah, you can just get 1 pack of these, and realistically you should be always getting 1 back, so you'll always have them, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if you do sell cards, sometimes people don't send you a top loader, and you're selling them like through eBay or wherever you sell cards. Usually you have to send out top loaders, so you can buy boxes of thousands, and that's what usually I do. But yeah. Always put your cards in top loader, regardless if it's a common or a secret rare. It's always good just to put the cards in top loader, because you'll get 1 back anyways, and you don't want the cards to be bent, because sometimes because there's a whole bunch of stuff in the mail, like the cards or envelopes will get stacked on top of each other, and sometimes they'll bend a little bit. And a top loader, it can bend a little bit. It has a little give to it, and it will still keep the card in mint condition, and that is what your goal is to do. So next up, so once you've got your cards and you guys agree who's ever setting first, you guys agree on that, you're ready to pack it up. So first, let's say for example you have 3 Spell of Powers. You can put in multiple cards inside 1 sleeve, and you always want to put the card inside a sleeve before you put it in the top loader, because the top loader sometimes can scratch it. So let's say for example you got the Spellbook Powers, you got 3 of them. Yeah, you can put multiple cards inside top loader. Once I get this in, there we go. Just be very careful when you slide it in, because you don't want to put too much pressure on the top. But yeah, there you go. So you got your Spellbook Powers ready, and you're sending out first. So now you got your envelope, and you want to write the address and all the information on it before you put in the card, otherwise it'll be hard to write on it. So let's go over how to mail out the envelope. So if you are getting tracking, we'll cover the tracking part after. So let's say for example here's your envelope, and don't write on the like if you're on a mat right now. Like say for example, I wouldn't want to write on this because it's a little bit difficult. So get a hard surface, like a video game case works perfect. So next up, you want to write the address. So let's go over how to do the whole like address. So I'll zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see that a little bit better. So over here, I would say in this region, about right there, that is where you want to put all your information. That way, if the letter doesn't get to the person, like maybe you have sloppy handwriting, or maybe they gave you the wrong address, it'll be sent back to you, so you won't lose your cards, essentially. And then over here, I would say in about this region, this one, we'll put a number 2 right here, and a number 1 right here. So number 1, you want to put in your address and information, and number 1, yeah, you want to put in your information, so if it gets sent back, it'll go over here. Number 2 is where you want to send the card, so you would send it to whoever you're sending it to. So first, let's go over if you're sending out what you want to put in. So you want to put in the person's name. So let's say you're sending it to Breaker. So we would write Breaker. I'm not sure if that's how you spell Breaker. The Magical Warrior. Okay, so you get it. Breaker the Magical Warrior. And let's say he lives on, like, we'll make up an address for Breaker the Magical Warrior. So so first you want to put their name, and then you want to put their address. So let's say Breaker lives at 123 Maple. That's just the street name. So you want to put 123 Maple, and let's say it's Maple Street. Sometimes it'll be Boulevard, sometimes it'll be like Circle. There's a whole bunch of other like lingos that they call like the streets. And then you want to put the city. So let's say he lives in what should we make up for a city? Let's call it Citadel. So that will be the city, and then you want to type it in, you want to write in the state. So let's say Citadel is in California. California would be CA, and there's a whole bunch of different states. So keep in mind, remember what state you're sending it to, and you want to write in whatever state it is, and then you want to do the zip code, and the zip code is. Let's say, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one's obviously fake. And you write the zip code. And if you're sending it to like Canada, or like you're in Canada and you're sending it to the United States, you want to write like USA or Canada, whatever a place you need it to be sent to. And after that, you want to write your information right here. So you would write your name, your street, your city, state, and your zip code. And next up, you'd just you'd slap a stamp on it. You'd want to put the card in it now, because remember to put in the card after you write the address, because it's always easier to write, because if you didn't, this is how it would look. It would get, oh, where's the card? See, it does this little thing. It's just annoying when you're writing down the address and there is a top loader and it just kind of messes it up. So you put your card right inside, and then next up you would want to tape this, because, well, you can lick it too. That definitely does work, but sometimes it doesn't stick good enough. And another envelope, let's say that Call of Duty is another envelope. This envelope would crash into it. Sometimes, like the mail, there's just so much stuff, and it just knocks it out, and then it could knock out the card, and then the person will never get the cards, because when they receive the mail, there'll be nothing inside. So that is always important, to tape the back of it over here. So you can get a huge roll of tape, and you can make your life really easy, and you could just get this and you put a big piece of tape right across there. Or if you got one of those like little ones where you pull it, you just put one piece of tape right here all along there, and then one piece of tape all along here, and then you'll be good to go. And then you slap on one stamp. Now, you might be wondering, how many stamps do I put on? Well, the thing is, it depends on how many cards you're sending, how many top loaders. Usually one top loader with 3 cards, you can just, one is pretty much good. If you're sending multiple top loaders, depending on how many top loaders, like if you're sending 2 top loaders full of cards, you probably want to put 2 stamps on, but you can always go to the post office and ask them how much it'll cost, and they'll just tell you right there, and you can just pay them right there, and it's usually a couple bucks. But now let's go over how to get tracking, because this is important, because, if you're trading off, a place at a spellbook of powers, you might not need to go for tracking, because you're like, oh, the spellbook of powers is only worth a couple bucks anyways. That's totally cool. But if you're trading a card like a High Priest of Prophecy, I would recommend you to get tracking on it, because it's kind of like a hot card, and it is kind of expensive. So let's go over how to get the delivery confirmation, or tracking as they call it. So this is what it'll look like. This is from USPS. There's a whole bunch of other postal services that offer tracking. Yours might look a little bit different, but just be like, hey, I want to get delivery confirmation, or tracking is what you're looking for. And they'll be like, yeah, and you can get a huge stack of these. Like, I have a huge stack of these. And what you essentially do is you want to, there'll be 2 parts of this, and you can fold it over, because it'll make it easier to tear. It'll tear cleaner, and you just tear it in half essentially. And this is the part that will actually go on the envelope, and it usually goes right here. This is where I put mine. So you'd put it right there, and it comes off. It's like a sticker. You put it on right here would be the best place, because you still have your address showing, their address showing, and you have room for stamps. And it's going to cost 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stamps in order to send it out with delivery, and you'll have tracking. This is what you hold on to, and you use this to find out where the package is. You just go to USPS.com, and then you just type in this number right here, and this number are the same. You can see right there; those are the same numbers, and that allows you guys to track the card online and see where it's at, and that way pretty much the card can't get lost through delivery confirmation. But yeah, you'll just slap this on, and then you'll put 7 stamps on it. I usually put 3 right here, and then I put 4 right here, and it works out pretty good. But when you are sending it out through the mail and you're using delivery confirmation, the package must be a 1/4 inch thick. So what you'll want to do, you just get regular bubble like this stuff, and usually just one layer on the front, 1 layer on the back is good. So let's take example of High Priestess of Prophecy. This is just one of those bubble mailers that I've cut, and it's just white. Yeah, you'll just get the card and you put it like this, or you can just get the bubble, like in a huge roll, and you can just pretty much go like this, and this will make it a 1/4 inch thick. So let's take this for example, and you'll just close it off, and make sure again you want to tape the entire thing if you can, because that'll make sure the thing is secure, and you can see it's 1/4 inch thick now. It could be more than a 1/4 inch thick; it just needs to be at least a 1/4 inch. I don't know why. It's just the rule as far as getting tracking. I don't really know why, but yeah, that's what they said for me. And let's check out what other things we need to go over. Oh, so we talked about the sleeve and the top loader. Make sure, again, you put a sleeve before the top loader, because the top loader sometimes can scratch it, because they're a little bit rough. But after you, essentially get that, you would want to send out. Make sure you can send out within 1 to 2 days, because the faster you send out, the faster you will get your card, because, it takes about a week to complete a trade if everyone is like on time, like everyone sends the next day. Like I always send out the next day unless it's like, you know, on Saturday if I receive the card I can't send out on Sunday because Sunday there's no mail. That's at least for the US. And so usually it takes 1 to 3 days depending on how far they live from you. Like if both of the people live in California, usually it'll take like 1 to 2 days. It's pretty short, but if you're in New York and I'm in California, 3, maybe 4 days. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes the mail can be slow too. Sometimes I've had California to California take like, you know, more than 1 or 2 days. It just happens. Sometimes the mail, they just get busy. Yeah, I would always recommend you to get delivery confirmation if it is a big trade. But even if for small trades, like it's definitely, there's no like bad side to getting delivery confirmation other than it'll cost you an additional 6 stamps. That's the downside. And you have to like, you know, put in some like bubble mailer, or you can probably just throw in like a piece of paper. And you need to get it a 1/4 inch thick though. That's just how it goes. But yeah, make sure you always mention the condition of the card and check their description for their wants list, because maybe you have a card that you would like to trade but they don't want the card, so it doesn't really do anyone any good. And keep in mind, people value cards differently. Some cards are harder to get than others, so just because it's on their wants list doesn't mean they have to trade for it. Like just because, let's say one player has High Priestess of Prophecy, like they want High Priestess of Prophecy, and you have Spell Book of Power. That doesn't really mean that Spell Book of Power, you can just immediately trade for that. Sometimes certain players will say, you know, this card is a secret rare, your card is a common. I don't really find that a fair trade. Just work with the person. You know, sometimes players just like you to send offers. That's always the fastest way. Just be like, oh hey, I want your High Priest of Prophecy. Can I trade you 3 Spell Book of Power? They'll say yes or no. More than likely they'll probably say no because, you know, let's be honest. 3 commons for a secret rare, usually not fair unless it's a really good common and a really bad secret rare, which, you know, does happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's definitely possible that, you know, 3 really good commons are worth a secret rare, depending on the demand of the common and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to help you guys out with that. But let's just go a quick overview. Write your name. Write on, you know, in the top left corner, write their name and address over in like kind of like the middle area, and then make sure you tape it. Make sure if you're getting delivery confirmation, it must be a 1/4 inch thick. Put 7 stamps in. If you're just doing like one top loader with like 1 to 3 cards, you can put 1 stamp in, and that'll be fine. If you're sending out, you know, expensive cards, I would recommend you to get tracking on it, because it's definitely a smarter thing to do. And let's see if there's anything, because I don't want to. I want to make this video perfect. If the card is damaged, let them know beforehand. Make sure you can send out as soon as possible, because you know, sometimes cards get reprinted, or sometimes maybe you traded, maybe you agreed on a trade and you traded a card. Let the person know that, because you should hold on to the card. If you agree on a trade, hold on to the card. Don't be like, oh yeah, I'm cool, let's trade. And then you go to locals and you bring the card and you trade it. So don't do that. Always be nice. If the card is damaged, let them know before you agree on a trade. And, you know, figure out who's sending first. Like I said, if they have a large amount of subscribers, like 10,000 plus, they usually are not looking to scam. Things do get lost in the mail, but that's why you got the delivery confirmation. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But hope this helps you guys out, and best of luck with you guys trading. But thanks for watching. Asian Eyes signing out.